What's up, everybody? Donnie D'Amato here, and welcome again to Codecast Live. Actually, again, today it's not live. I have to be away for a little while, so doing this pre-recorded, it'll be up the normal live time. But doesn't matter. We're just going to get into it. Today, we're going to be talking about these things called like iterator functions. So we're going to be talking about map and filter today. We're not going to be talking about reduce or any of the other ones because map and filter are, I think, the closest in terms of similarities. So we're going to talk about those. So let's just kind of get into it here. I'm going to open my code pen, switch on over. Here we are. All right. So let's see here. So we're going to be doing with JavaScript. So we're going to go over to the JavaScript section over here. And we're going to be working with some arrays. So I'm going to make an array by going var arr, and then I'm going to make an array with these brackets here. Now, with this array, I'm going to put in a whole bunch of different numbers. We're just to put number 8, number 5, number 2, number 4, and let's put in a number, let's put another 5 in. What the hell? Okay. So the first function we're going to be, or first method we're going to be working with is going to be map. And what map's going to do is it's going to allow us to pass in a function as its parameter, and then we're going to run that function on every single item in my array. So let's make a function first. So let's make a function and just call it square. So we're just going to square stuff, and we're going to put a number in here like this, and then we're going to return the number times the number. Right? Okay. So if I was to run this function normally, right, so I'll have the square like this, and if I square the number, let's do the number 3, all right, we should get, let's look at our console. Console, please. Stop it. There we are. Since we have no HTML, that won't work. So, or there's nothing in there. So we'll just console log the square piece here, and we should get 9. Okay, that's the 9. Perfect. So what we want to do is we want to do this to every single one of these numbers. Now, you could put this in a for loop. That would totally work. You could do like the regular for loop, and let's actually write out what that would look like. Let's do for var I equals 0. I is less than array length I plus plus, right? That's the kind of regular setup for loop. And then we would do this idea of squaring. So we would do console log. Well, actually, we want to make a new array out of this, actually. Let's do var new array and put some stuff in there. And what we'll do is we'll have new array push, and we're going to say array I times array I, and then we'll console log our new array. Cool. There it is. So this squares all those numbers, right? So it's the square of 8, square of 5, square of 2, square of 4, and square of 5 again. Okay? Cool. So I wrote a whole bunch of code here to do this, right? And certainly I could also use the actual square function, which is what I should have done in the first place. I should use the square function here and put in that one number, right? So that's what that was doing there, right? So we put in that one number and we'll get the exact same thing as we got up on top here. Cool. So instead of typing all of this stuff out, right, just to get this thing to square, what we could do instead is we could actually do, on the array, we could do this thing called map and pass in that square function, okay? Now what this is going to do, I'll have to console log it so you can see it, folks. There we go. So you can see it did 2 of them. The first one is the loop that's on top, and then the second one is this one right here, which is that map one, right? So array.map, and we pass in a function. Now when you pass in the function in here, the first parameter of that function is going to be the value at that location, right? So that's going to be the number 8. There's a couple other things that get passed in here. The next actual number is going to be index, so that would be the I thing that goes in here. And then this other thing that's in here is the array itself. So I just put the letter A for that is okay. So that's what gets passed in here. So every time that we do this map thing on this function, it's going to automatically pass those things into those places. So if I want to use the value, it's there. If I want to use the index at that location, it's there. And if I want to use the entire array itself for whatever reason, maybe I need like access to it inside of this function, I can do it right here. So that works like this. So that'll do it on every single item in this array. The other thing I'm going to show you is filter. Let's say I only wanted to get the even numbers from this thing. So let's make a function for that that says is even, and we'll put in a number here, and we'll say return number with the module sign 2 equals 0. Okay, that basically means that if I divide this thing by 2, whatever the number is, and there's no remainder, then that means it's even. Okay, so that's what this basically says here. So what we could do now is if I console log array filter and then is even, you'll see I'll only get the even numbers there, which is super cool, right? So we have the 8, the 2, and the 4. So I can also change this to odd if I wanted to. I could just go ahead and change this to like to not 0, and that'll give me the odd numbers. It'll be 5 and 5, which is cool. Okay, so that's kind of all I wanted to show you today. Really easy stuff, I think, or not easy stuff, but really like quick kind of thing today. Really helpful for kind of taking an existing array and then doing something to each individual item in order to make it into something different than you might need to use. Maybe you'll like do it with objects in a really complex scenario where you'll be adding things to objects and removing things. Maybe for filter, you want to make sure that you have actual data in those places as opposed to things that are not the real data that you want, or maybe there's things that don't have images, so you have to remove them so you can have everything that just has images in it. So those are kind of the ways that you might want to use map and filter. Anyway, I hope you liked that. If you have a question, leave it in a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next week. Later.